Hey guys, what's up? Don't forget to like, share, and no, I'm just kidding. After reading the video responses for the last couple of weeks, I wanted to create a quick video addressing a few issues that I saw in the reading responses and to pose a few questions that I hope will get you thinking about the course concepts that we've talked about so far in maybe a few new ways. We'll be working with these concepts throughout the rest of the semester in the major projects, so it's really important that we constantly work toward a really strong understanding of them. And I'm going to do that by giving you feedback on each of your upcoming assignments too, but I also wanted to take a moment to address everyone all at once as well, in addition to giving you that individual feedback. So the two big themes of the readings and videos for the past 2 weeks were identity, especially identity online, and authenticity. There were 2 readings about online identity, or identity in the internet, and 3 videos about authenticity. And I want to start by talking about identity. The 2 big concepts involving identity that we read about were the fractured nature of identity online and the performative nature of identity online. So first, what do we mean, or rather, what does Professor Turkle mean by fractured identity? Well, we can think of it this way. Try to sum up your entire identity, both online and off, in a single word. Can you? I know I can't, and that goes for both my online and my offline identities. I can be both a cosplayer and a college instructor, but I might not perform those identities in the same spaces at the same times. I might on occasion, as I actually have done for this very class, but I don't usually. So the thing I want you to think about in terms of performing fractured identities is, what do we mean when we say identity? Can anyone truly have one single identity? Can someone have an identity or identities that are not performed? That one's actually a really complicated question, and I don't expect us to solve it entirely in a single semester, but I do want us to think about it. And here's one more question to help us segue into the next big topic. Does performing one identity make another identity that a person might have inauthentic? Does performing one identity make another identity inauthentic? When I cosplay, do I stop being a college instructor? When I'm a college instructor, do I stop being a cosplayer? I mean, I'm not necessarily cosplaying in the moment, even if dressing up like an instructor sometimes feels like cosplay. But does that identity vanish just because I'm not cosplaying every second of every day? To put it another way, and to be a bit personal, if I may, if I only post happy moments from my life on social media, but I'm actually kind of homesick for my friends and family back in the States, does it negate the happy moments I have here with my husband in this new to me country? I mean, I don't think so. It might not be the whole picture, but it doesn't necessarily mean those moments were inauthentic. But then, what does that mean in terms of the very idea of authenticity itself? Something to think about as we move forward through the semester. Another thing I want us to keep thinking about throughout the semester in terms of authenticity is, why does it seem to matter so much? Certainly, no one wants to get duped or actively tricked out of something, but I want to bring in the videos that we watched this week from Lindsay Ellis, Oliver Thorne, and Dan Olson, aka Foldable Human. So each of them tries to illustrate something about the idea of authenticity or reality online. Lindsay points out that YouTubers make specific rhetorical choices, though I don't think she actually uses that specific language, to create a feeling of authenticity and to create emotional bonds with viewers. And she points out that the emotional bond has literal monetary value in terms of people liking, subscribing, sharing, or purchasing a book or sprinkle service. She's quick to point out at the end that just because this is how things are, it doesn't mean that this is necessarily bad, just that we, as savvy consumers of media, should be aware of it. Like, in other words, it's not necessarily bad that someone uses YouTube as a means of getting money in order to live, right? It's not bad that someone makes their living via YouTube. necessarily, but that we, again, as consumers of media, should be aware that choices are being made and things are happening underneath the surface. It's a way of looking at media that we consume a little bit more deeply. Let's move on to Ollie's video now. Though some folks seem to read it as kind of a rebuttal to Lindsay's video, and I guess it kind of could be. I actually think Ollie builds on Lindsay's point by articulating some ways in which manufactured authenticity can still be authentic in a sense. Just because someone reshoots an emotional scene 8 times doesn't mean that the emotions in that scene were fake. In fact, it could just mean that that person had to suffer through filming 8 times in order to create something meaningful to an audience. Dan Olson also built on this idea of manufactured authenticity by showing how the authentic style that YouTubers have basically come up with, walking around in a public place, speaking in stream of consciousness style, eliminating pauses and editing, so on and so forth. This authentic style is also constructed. YouTubers still have to choose where to film. They have to, they come up with the words, right, in the moment, but they still edit out all of those pauses after all. And these edits and these choices can make these videos seem hyper real or more real than real, right? But does that mean that those vlogs are inauthentic? I would say not necessarily. Just because something is edited for ums and uhs doesn't mean that what the YouTuber is trying to get across, the messages that they're trying to convey, aren't real. It just maybe means that we need to redefine what authenticity even means, and to think about how and why it's deployed in the videos that we consume. Alternatively, we could ask another question. Should we as viewers of media use authenticity, however we define it, as a measure of quality or value? And if so, how do we deploy that definition? And then finally, I want to bring this whole discussion back around to choices. The concepts we're discussing, identity, fractured identity, performative identity, authenticity, hyper-realness, all have to do with choice. And one thing I'd like to see more of in everyone's future work is to really think thoroughly, to really think about how those concepts relate to choice. All right, that's it for now. Don't forget to like, share. No, don't do that. Please don't subscribe, actually, because then you can see all my previous videos from previous classes and all the videos. Just don't do it.